Hi, my name is Peyton Belconi, and I'm doing a peer review of street photography of Madeline Chambers. And the first question that we were asked is, does the artist generally understand the requirements of the project? And after going through her photos, she generally understood to shoot people she doesn't know. However, in some of the end of the pictures like this one, it kind of looks like she might be walking with them, she might be familiar with them. She understood that she had to shoot in public places, like for example in this photo, she's off campus, she's out in the public, she's in areas around Lexington. This, for example, is downtown. I know this is by Chevy Chase, so she understood that she had to shoot in a public place. And she understood that she's not able to shoot from a car. I can see that in all her photos. I can see that she shot in black and white. That was the requirement of the project, and all her photos are in black and white. The next question asked, how effectively has the artist used the elements and principles of design and photography to compose the images? So I see that she used balance in the first photo, for example. I see that if you were to cut a line down the middle of the image, that you could see that there's a balance of color and the amount of objects in the photo and the amount of light. And then I see in image 4474 that she had some emphasis here. That's a principle of design, and my eye drew right to the woman in the gown, in the what looks like a wedding dress. And I start asking myself questions like, what's her story? Like, why is she on the bus? Who's she marrying? What's the story behind the couple? How did they meet? So I think she has emphasis good in this image. And then she has a rhythm in image 4570. Just gonna find the image. There it is. Okay, so in this image, I see that there's rhythm in this image. I see that there's repetitions on the sides of different lines and shapes, and I see the light kind of come through this like barrier fence, kind of emphasizing those lines and shapes of the wire, and also just all the way along to the very end of the photo and the very end of the walkway. Just there's rhythm in the shapes of the pipes, the concrete walls. So I thought she did a good job showing that. And then the next question is, has the artist effectively captured a sense of place in which they were shooting? What's the story about the place that the artist is trying to tell? I think she's trying to tell that every individual in the environment that she shot at is very unique and different. They have their own style, they're wearing their own different clothes, they have their own different actions, they have their own different thoughts. Like, for example, in this photo, she's probably trying to get somewhere quick, so they have their own actions, have their own thoughts, they have their own different backgrounds, and they came to the space with different intentions. And then the next question asks, are there particular images in the portfolio that stand out the best? And specifically going through her portfolio, the images that stood out the best to me were those shot at the baseball field. I think this was because I start to wonder what they were thinking, and I feel like you could understand the kind of anticipation each of the players had. For example, in the dugout, you could feel their anxiousness, their excitement, and then in the fans section, you could feel that they were nervous, that they were happy, excited to be there, and you could feel from the players, the hard work that they're putting into the game, and they're probably exhausted. So I feel like from this image, you could get a real sense of place in these images, like this one and the following ones. I think these are all probably her best images. And I also think back to the image of the bride. I can go back to that image. You start to, I think this is a really good image because you start to question her story. Like, why is she here? What is she doing? I think the color really hit the bride well, as in like the dress, white dress really pops in this image, and you see all the other women looking at her, so your focus is right to that woman in the gown. And then as far as images that need improvement and were weak, I would say some of these images that were more blurry. Let's see. If I can go through. I would say, for example, this image needs a little bit of improvement because the light in the background from the street poles are really distracting. I think it doesn't really allow my focus to go on the people and what their actions are, but just that light. So I would say that this image needs a little bit of improvement in that it is a little bit blurry, so you can improve that way. I would say this image as well. Again, to me, that light's kind of distracting in the back and is a little bit blurry. This image as well, I kind of thought the light was distracting, and this image is a little bit blurry. So I would just say improvement wise, just to focus more your camera, and then the images won't be as blurry. And then what things could the artist do to improve these images? I kind of referenced on that. I would make sure that the light is balanced and just focus your camera so that the images aren't as blurry. But great job. I really enjoyed looking at your photos.